I walk and I strength train, but I want to boost the impact of the exercise I'm doing and make the most out of it. I love this question. So good, isn't it?
It is.
It says that we're aware that we may be not getting the results that we want. And so we need to look at something, and maybe it's just a small tweak that we need to adjust to have the most bang for our buck in what we're actually doing. So I think it's important to recognize that we actually need to show up to our workouts, don't you think?
Oh, yes. It's my pet
So
peeve.
I know. So sometimes what we do is we just go, we just turn up. If you're not watching it and you're listening to it, Sel's just doing a few bicep curls looking around the room now. Yeah, so I think it's really important that we don't just go, yeah, I'm here, so therefore I'm just going to do what I can do. And we've heard these words, haven't we? Like multiple
Yeah.
times. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
here, but
I
I'm
do what
just
I
not
can.
feeling great. So maybe if you're not feeling great, you should be listening to your body, and maybe what you should be doing is actually just getting outside and having some sunshine or something. So yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about the things that we can do to actually boost the impact of what we're currently doing. And I think the first and foremost, we have to mention goals, and we're going to do an eye roll with this. So, goals. Because I know that we talk about goals and we ask ladies, what's your goal? And it will be something airy fairy, I want to lose weight, or I don't really have a goal because I'm just exercising. Well, if that's the attitude, I'm just exercising, it means that you're not showing up. You're actually not putting as much as you possibly can into that workout, and so therefore you won't get the results that you want. And sometimes what you're actually looking for might be deeply stuck away somewhere in your head, and you're just not going to actually say what it is that you want.
Yeah. You're not interested.
Mm,
So why you exercising if you're not interested?
mm, mm. So
Because that's what everyone tells you should be doing.
yeah, and look,
Yeah.
and the other thing about goals too, Sel, and I think it's worthwhile mentioning, is that a goal is always changing. Once you get to it, it's like, well, it's not the end. It's like, what's the new thing that I can do? What
Yeah.
can I now change? So I had a goal when I was in my 40s to, keep wearing a bikini when I was in my 60s, you know.
And it's that goal still going.
Yeah, the goal's still going.
Mm.
Watch me in my 70s,
Yeah.
I will still be wearing my bikinis. It might not look great, but who knows? I'm it's about me being happy in my skin and how I feel about myself. So it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter. It's not important to me about what you think about what I look like either. And I think that's a great attitude to have. But
Yeah.
that's an external goal, right? So
Mm.
and I also think the other thing is that just having a toned body is important for me
Mm.
as well too, because if I want to wear those bikinis, I really don't want to be all saggy and whatnot. So
Yeah.
yeah, so muscle therefore is important to me. So that goal might be to make sure that I'm doing what I can do to have a toned body. So when I'm setting those goals with my coach, then what I'm going to do is break it down and say, well, what can I do to improve that? And you might give advice on different types of exercises or different types of routines that I might do, so you might say, let's do more compound exercises and the like. So what do you think? What would you say?
I would say yes, you're going to have this big goal up here
Mm-hmm.
with your coach, but this little goal down here for today is also very important
Yeah.
because this little goal today is not going to get you there. So if you're not, as you said, not interested in my workout, I'm just going to go, I don't really want to. If you don't have a goal for that workout, and that goal could be, I'm going to really focus in on my body. I'm going to feel my muscles when I do each exercise. Okay, in between each exercise, I'm going to jump on that treadmill and I'm going to run my heart out for a minute.
Yeah.
And then you're moving up to that weekly goal. Okay, well, this week I did 4 workouts. I'm so proud, because then you're one more step closer to your big goal of staying in that bikini in your 80s.
Yeah,
So I think
exactly.
these little goals are very important as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that every workout that we do, it has to serve a purpose, doesn't it? So
Mm.
so if I'm just showing up and I don't have an intention and some type of outcome for that workout, then I am just going to go through the routine of doing it. And I think we've already alluded to it, that we really have to optimize that workout structure, so, and I'm not going to go that you need to do just one thing, because you do need to do cardiovascular training. You do need to do strength training. You've got to do flexibility training, because they all challenge you in different ways. And I know that, a lot of trainer friends of mine, they often say, I went and did like a yoga class with someone who is focused on yoga, and it's like, oh, it was just a train wreck for me because it's not the area that they focus on. And I know that to be true for myself. So I do try and fit into those different types of categories and do different things.
Mm. Mm.
Do you yourself personally, try and put it into those 3 areas, or do you focus on one thing over another?
No, I can't just go in and higgledy-piggledy do anything.
No.
I just can't. It's got to be, 3 categories. It could be 2 categories on one day. So it could be, okay, well, I'm going to do strength training in my upper body.
Yes.
Upper body only, shoulders, arms, back, that sort of thing.
Mm.
And then I'm going to do interval training on the treadmill. So running, walking for
Yeah.
20 minutes. Fast, slow, fast, slow. It could be, okay, well, I'm going to train my lower body today.
Yeah.
But then I'm going to do some flexibility moves. So I'm going to make sure I'm stretching really well, and not just a 2-minute stretch after I've done the workout,
Yes.
your
Yeah.
obligatory stretches across your chest, whatever, really laying on the floor and doing those flexibility moves. Yeah, I really need structure. And it's interesting because a friend of mine goes to the gym every day, trains every day, strength trains. She knows how important it is,
Yes.
everything. And so at the moment, she's doing some meta testing for Katie, right?
Yes.
For a program that Katie's writing. So everything is structured and programmed and everything. And this girl that goes to the gym every single day, and I watch her work out. Okay, she's doing this today, she's doing that today, and she's now doing this meta program that is all structured. And she said it's a game changer for her.
Oh, totally.
And it's just amazing listening to her. How you're looking at this girl going, oh yeah, she knows what she's doing, she's all together. But when it's all structured and programmed and written down, yeah, she's really loving it.
Yeah. Look, for me personally, it's strength training. I'm not going to, I don't want to have cardiovascular training in amongst my strength training. End of story. It's just not going to happen, because I want to focus on, the movement that I'm doing. I want to focus on that exercise. I want to get the most out of it. So, therefore, some of these types of classes that you can do, you'll go from one thing to the other. And I really just think that we don't get as much from it that we can possibly get. So, and cardiovascular training is important to me, but it's one of those things that I can go out and do a walk.
Yeah.
I can go up a hill. I can go up the mountain down the road. So, you know, I'm still getting that. And I stretch every morning. I do mobility moves and I stretch every morning before I start doing anything. And, you know, when I've been sitting here at the desk for a while, I'll get up and I will do a quick little stretch and you know, then I'll pick up some weights and do a little bit to help me stretch out, you know, and work my chest, because I know that I'm starting to get rounded over and I need to do something about that. So
Yeah.
the
And
structure
that
is
is,
really important.
yeah, but that's also so important to remember, you know, that's the way you train. This is the way I train.
Mm,
You could go out there and train the way Peter trains and then train the way I train and go, oh, I hate that. So
yes.
you've got to find what you like and what you're going to stay consistent with.
Yeah, absolutely. I also think that sometimes we have to do the other things as well too. So, you
Mm,
know, like I like skiing. You know, if
yeah.
I had to put anything on the top of the list, it's going to be skiing. Second, hiking. So therefore I know that there are certain types of things that I need to do in order to be able to do those things. So here's my
Yeah.
loves, and here's the things I need to do to support those loves.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the third point, Sal, has to be proper form and technique, hands
Mhm.
down. You know, there's no point, you know, doing a bicep curl, you know, and throwing your back, and you often see that not just in gyms, but you also see it up on social media as well too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we say it to our ladies in the studio a lot. I can see you just swinging it from your shoulder. Don't you email me and tell me you've got a sore shoulder next week.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, you say that. You do say that. But you know, we've got
But yeah, very big, very, very, very big on form.
yeah, absolutely. And so much so that, you know, just this week I reached out to one of the ladies who I know, you know, often gets a little bit of a niggle in her knee. And I said, have you gone and had it checked out? Oh, I'm not that type of person. And it's like, well, you do need to be that type of person. So if you know that there's something wrong with it, then you're addressing what it is that's wrong with it. Um, and that's important in itself. But one of the things is that just by doing a squat, as an example, we did a squat and then I got her to do two simple mobility moves, and then I said, now squat again, and she was down lower.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So she needed to warm up the muscles and the joints. And then the next part of it was that we then looked at um, when you're focusing on hips, for example, your hips should be able to do, you know, different types of movements, whereas the knee should only go forwards and back. And what was happening is she's getting that knee that's moving from side to side, which it shouldn't be doing that. So what we discovered was it's her glute mid muscle that's quite weak. And of course, that can be something that happens for all of us, Sal, right?
Yeah.
Because it's the one muscle that I'm going to call it the sitting muscle, you know? So, you know, what we probably need to do is just focus on that muscle a little bit more, activate it a little bit more, and do some more work on it. And so she was able to, you know, get a few exercises to do, and, you know, so a few mobility moves to do before she starts a workout, so that, you know, she could do a lot more. So yeah,
Yeah.
technique, form is so important.
So important. And if you do have a niggle, we work with a lot of women with aches and pains
Yeah,
and
yeah.
whatnot. And if you do have a niggle that you are not addressing, um, it can impact your form. And then you can compromise your form,
Mm,
and you can then it can be like a chain reaction where I've got another niggle over here.
mm,
We saw it with one of our clients, and she had a little tear in the shoulder, and we told her, have you been the doctor? Have you been the doctor? Have you been? 18 months this went on,
mm.
18 months, and that got to the point where she could put no pressure on the arm. That little tear in the shoulder, then in her shoulder blade, then impacted her shoulder.
Yeah.
Then she ended up with fluid in a bicep.
Bicep, yeah.
Yeah, and she was told it was all connected. You know, so I think it's so important that if you do have any aches and pains or niggles or whatever, get them checked out.
Yeah.
Because we talk about correct technique. Yes, we can make you focus on correct technique, but you could be compensating.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other side of that, Sal, is prioritizing, that recovery and rest as well too. So, if you aren't feeling fantastic, coming in and doing a strength workout, and lifting those heavy weights is probably not a great idea. So maybe what you need to do is prioritize lighter weights as an example. Or maybe what you need to do is prioritize the stretching component of it.
Yeah.
Or just get out and do a walk as an example. So you're allowing your body to recover from it. But the other aspect of it is if you do have sore muscles, don't just stop. You want to do this active recovery, and it might be any of those things as well that I've just mentioned. So I think that's really important that we prioritize that, because as we've mentioned many, many times before, Sel, our sleep is definitely impacted when we go through menopause. Those hormones cause a little bit of an issue for us. So, really, really focusing in on that sleep is so important. If we didn't get that good quality sleep, then adjusting the workout for that level of sleep that we've actually had.
Yeah. And it's all very much a catch-22 too, because if you are strength training, and you are strength training with your mind involved, so at the beginning we were talking about you can go in there and you just look it out the window and whatever, that can impact your sleep too. You can have fantastic sleep. So it can be switched. If you're strength training and you're strength training correctly, you're strength training hard, and not just strength training, all the other different things that you're doing, that can impact your sleep too, and it can be great sleep.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's also important that we mention fueling your body properly.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things that I was talking to a friend about this morning, who's also a trainer, and she's had a few issues going on with her tummy and whatnot, which have finally been sorted out and everything like that. And for her to be able to do the things that she does, she was under fueling her body, and she still just kept on managing to just grind through it. But just the stress that her body would have been under during this time would have been horrendous. So now that they've got the issue sorted out and it's addressed, then it means that she's been able to start eating more and enjoying the food and fueling her body. And we often undervalue carbohydrates as a fuel source.
Yeah. I mean, what do we all always default to, especially women our age and older? We always default to what our mums did. That was a stale with tomato on, or a crusket. One crusket with tomato on it for lunch.
Yes.
Dinner was a boiled potato with, a piece of steak. So you think about, like, because I think about what my mum would eat, and I look at it and go, that was probably like 500 calories a day.
I know.
And now it's just completely different. The research has shown that when you are strength training, get into those calories, good calories.
Yeah,
but not pop
absolutely.
into the bakery and having a cream bun.
Come
good
on,
calories. But you're allowed to eat. You're allowed to have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and these are substantial meals that you're allowed to have. You're allowed to have a stack. So I think it's very important to, as you said, when you're fueling your body, step away from the 70s and 80s.
It's a big diet culture, and it really is difficult to break that mindset, that if I eat a little bit more, that I'm going to put on weight. And shout out to Kay Self.
Mm.
She did the program with me, and just small tweaks, just getting her to be more mindful was the first part of it. What are you eating? Let's talk about that. When you put some food into your mouth, savor it, put the fork down, take a pause during the meal, just check in with yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Are you feeling hungry? Where are you at? You are at a 7 or you are at an 8, so, and those different levels will indicate, whether you're trying to lose weight or gain muscle. So, it is really tapping into the feeling of being full and being satisfied. And, then we moved on to prioritizing the protein. And
Yeah.
she was just flabbergasted, by just, doing those few simple things, by being more mindful and prioritizing the protein. And we really didn't change much else about it. She lost, I can't even remember what it was, Sel. Was it 3% or something like that? 3% body fat?
3-4% body fat. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just, it was just amazing. And like, we see her now, and I know that Sue trained her this morning and hasn't seen her for a while, and went, oh my goodness, you've got so much more energy. Look at you. I'm so impressed with you. And that's because she is actually now fueling her body. So she's
Yeah.
feeling better and she's got
Yeah.
more energy.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah. I also think that, we can't not talk today about staying hydrated, because, every part of our body requires fluid, to function, our brain, our cells, our bones, our muscles. So staying hydrated and having that water is really, really important.
Very important. We're in Australia and we're heading into, well, we're in autumn now. So
Mm,
I think it's very important to not pull back on your water.
yeah.
Don't think about your water as quenching your thirst.
No.
Especially, as I said, we're heading into autumn, we're heading into winter, and we will drop off, um, you know, having our water. Whereas this is probably the most important time to keep it up.
Yeah, absolutely. 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 Any final thoughts, Sel?
No, I think we've covered everything
I think we
today. That
have
was a
covered.
great subject.
Yeah, a great subject. So hopefully, ladies, you've got something out of today. If you've got any questions, all you have to do is reach out to Sel and I, send them through. We'll answer them for you, particularly about today's episode. Or, if you've got a question that is slightly different that you want answered, please just send it through as well too.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sel, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me as always.
You're very welcome. Thanks for joining us, ladies, and we'll see you all soon. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.